Hello everyone, I think we're live. Looks like audio is working. I'll wait till I hear from you guys just in case. Oh look, there's little, YouTube changed the chat thing. There's like little emojis off to the side for some reason. Okay, good, audio is good. Welcome. Tonight we are going to be working in colored pencil and pan pastels to draw a black cat. The link for the reference photo is in the video description below. So those of you who are gonna complain, and trust me, I hear you every week, wanting the reference photo on the screen, you can just go download it. And then you have it. You can put it anywhere on the screen you like. So there is that. Let's see. Hi, Python. So tonight I'm working on, I ended up drawing this on a gray. It's kind of a darkish gray. It's a little darker than it looks on the camera. And I traced out my cat, or draw it out however you want. If you want to freehand it, I would freehand it on another piece of paper and then trace that. The reason is we want our work to be clean. If we just draw on this paper, we're gonna have eraser marks all over. I don't know about you, but I do a lot of erasing when I freehand. So we want to draw that out, and then all I do, once that's drawn on my clean tracing paper, take a piece of transfer paper, slide that on under, and then a little stylus, ballpoint pen, whatever you want, and you just lightly, you don't need to push hard with this, go over that, and that will get us our drawing on here cleanly. I am working on Inktense and MeWe. This is a 5x7. I'm working on the smooth side. I used to work on the rough side whenever I use pan pastels, and that works fine. The theory being pastels, typically, they like a little bit more grip. Pan pastels stick so well. I realized recently that I can get away with just the smooth side, and that way it makes it easier when I go under the colored pencil. So that's a nice bonus there. And yeah, so there we go. There is our drawing. And what else? You can bid on this. The link is in the video description if you want to own this cat. One more thing I wanted to go over. Somebody sent me a message, and they wanted to know, if you remember from last week, the owl in colored pencil and watercolor. Wanted to know how, when I made it for sale this weekend, which it didn't sell, so it's still available if you want it, but why it's so much better now than it was during the live stream. So at the end of the stream, we're going to talk about the changes that I made on this guy and why he's better now than he was last you saw him. So let me move that out of the way. I don't want him messed up. And I know the fox and the peacock recently that sold, those got shipped today, so those will be to you soon. Oh, and we're going to start out tonight from Kirsten. Sent the puppies, wait, they know. You want a super chat? Wade's already licking his lips. Let's see, you got a super chat from Kirsten? Say thank you. Okay, there you go. Good boys. Okay, go drool over your beds. Take it to your bed. Go on. Go lay down. Thank you. They are very happy with that. Lay down all the way. Gibson. Wade, lay down. Cow. Okay. So yes, it was baby pandas that wanted to know the changes on the owls. Gibson. Down. Stubborn dog. Gibson. Down. No one wants me yelling in their ear because you don't want to listen, even though that's what just happened. And if you have any questions, go ahead and leave those now. I'll be answering those at the end of the live stream after we get through the art. So I'm going to start with pan pastels. Oh, I don't even have I have some soft tools. What are you choking on over there? Someone's choking. Let me grab my soft tool covers, unless they're over here. Oh, they're right here. I'm prepared, kind of, and I didn't even know it. I'm going to start by lightly doing the background. I'm going to let some of the gray of my background show through. My goal is not to completely cover that. And oh, I guess this one's clean on the other side. So on this soft tool, this side's actually clean. That's from the fox I've been working on. Let's just flip that over. I can reuse that side. Okay, and let's see, colors. I'm going to be using some greens and blues. Let's slide that away so you can kind of see. I'm going to start with this olive green. I think that's chromium oxide, chromium. Yep, chromium oxide green. And let's get a little bit of that in here. And I'm going to let that fade out. My goal is not to fill all of that background. I'm just going to lightly go over that. No, I would rather this go over the cat a little bit than not quite touch the cat. You don't want to get that halo effect where the paper is kind of like you've got an outline where you're afraid to cover too much there, I would rather get a little green on the cat and then go over it with the pencils. Let's pull, let's see, which blue do I want to pull in there? Let's go with the ultramarine. Just a little in there. Now you can use, if you've got the colorless blender, the Pan Pastel colorless blender, I have that. It makes things blend a little bit smoother, a little bit easier, but you also don't need it. Somebody asked in our Discord, our Patreon Discord group this week, was asking about whether or not they needed to buy that. It's handy. It does make things blend smoother. Like I feel like I don't go through as much of my colors. I can kind of stretch them out. It's almost like adding water to your acrylic paints. Thins them out down a little bit, but they also go a lot farther. So but I'd been working with Pan Pastels for what, 2, 3 years, 4 years? I don't know how long for. 5, gosh, it's been a while now. And I didn't even get that the colorless blender until a few months ago. So obviously you don't need it. It works just fine without, but it is pretty handy. I kind of like it. Just this nice, soft, and then fades into the gray. And again, mine's a little bit darker. Let's pull a little bit more green in there. There we go. And do I want anything else? No, I think I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing where I'm just gonna flip my soft tool. This is a smaller brush. I'm gonna flip, actually, no, that color is fine for what I'm doing. I lied, I'm leaving it as it is. I'm going to start with my browns and I'm gonna mix, not rich, what the heck. This is red iron oxide that I just stuck my finger in, so let's clean that off so I don't end up with fingerprints where I didn't want them. That's so ending up on my face. Okay, and I'm just going to go a little bit around the face. We've got a little bit of this reddish brown color that's gonna be on the ruff of the cat. Now it's not going to stay this red. And actually, let me see if I can fix that camera really quick now that I can definitely tell. Actually, 2 things I need to check. I don't have, oh no, I do. That is fine. Let me make sure, 1 second. Okay, that is good. What else did I need? Oh yeah, we're going to adjust the camera a bit here. Whoop. I don't know what buttons to push, apparently. Camera hub, that is what I want. Elgato. Let me switch to that one. Or it could just freeze up. It definitely just froze up. Come on, Elgato. You did this to me recently, and the only fix I had was to restart, which obviously I cannot do tonight. Oh, you're really, that's what we're gonna do. Thanks. I don't know why this app has been giving me problems. Great. I don't know if this is a good idea or not. Hold on. It's probably not, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Where is camera hub? I'm gonna end task. This might be the worst thing I ever did. Oh. Can I not end that task? Yes, I can. Maybe that will restart it. I don't know. I might regret that. Nope, it's still working, so that's good. Now let's see if I can get Camera Hub to work. Sorry about this. It is loading. Oh, so it looks like, it worked. That was the solution. Kinda didn't expect that. Try to make this a little bit closer. It's really overexposed for some reason. I just put my hand in it. It makes it easier for me to judge my colors if you're wondering why I do that. Sorry for the delay here. That's kinda close. Kinda? It's better. I think that's good enough. That's pretty close to what it looks like. Okay, and now I know how to fix the Elgato Camera Hub thing. Just end task and start it over again. Okay, back to work. What was I doing next? Cat. working on the cat. So we've got that in there. We've got a lot of blues. We've got a little bit more of the browns in here, or the reddish color. Just pull in a couple of spots. Little eyebrows. A little bit of a pink cream color inside the ear. So I just mixed red, the red oxide, and white to get that cream tone. You can actually pull a little bit of that in here too. Now I'll go ahead and do the black, the darkest black. So as I do this, don't just fill in the entire cat with the darkest black you have. And you can do this even if you don't have pen pastels, you're doing it in colored pencil, it would be the same thing. We want to keep the darkest, like you want variation in actual black and then various values moving up through that. If everything's solid black, he's going to look really flat. There's a lot of blue we're going to want to pull in here, blues and grays. So we've got the darkest area here. And I just turn the soft tool to the side so I can get a thinner line as needed, and then the thinnest lines I'll get with my colored pencil. Now this guy's pretty fluffy, so I'm keeping that wispy look as I move up the ears. See how I'm working this soft tool in the direction of the fur. And all the supplies I'm using are listed in the video description if you are not sure what they are. And I've had people ask if you can just use makeup like applicators like these guys. Yes, you technically can. Actually, this one I think is a soft tool. You can use stuff like this. The problem is they're kind of awkward, so they're okay for little areas, but like big things, your fingers kind of get in the way of that, whereas with this, see how it's angled? I can hold it here and my fingers aren't touching the paper. It's more like using a palette knife. And then his little chin just kind of fades out. It's not really defined. I think it's all that fluff. This is going to get lighter, so I'm not pushing really hard. I didn't load that with a whole lot of the black. And then this is a lot lighter too, so we'll just let that fade out a bit. Going to reload with a bit more black. This doesn't have to be perfect, but go for close. Make your life easier later. If you're having to fix everything, that just takes a lot more time. Some little fluff. See again how I'm watching the direction that fluff moves. Okay, and I'm going to use, actually you can use this little guy to fill in the eye with the green and yellow. I'm going to start with yellow, and I'm going to use the yellow. I believe that's, what was that weird name that I insisted wasn't a word? And you guys had me look up. Darilide, I guess it's a flower. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to mix that with some white. And I'm going to start the eyes with that color, which is obviously missing the green. But if I start with green, it's going to be harder to lighten it up to the yellow where I need. Yellow being lighter and more translucent usually, it's going to be a lot easier to put that in first and then add green where I need to. And the little bits of orange around the edge, I'm going to do that later with colored pencils. So I'm not worried about that right now. Let's go ahead and pull in some green. Looks more like a phthalo green. I'm going to mix phthalo and a little bit darker there. We're going to go right around the eyes, or the pupil I mean. And I'm not even going to worry about the highlight or the pupil. I'll do that with the colored pencil later. Although I will, while I've got this in my hand, I may as well do the little nose. And I wiped some off so that there's not a lot of black here where I want it lighter. Okay, I'm going to come back with the darker one now and darken up the darker bits a bit more. And he's going to look really scary at this stage. That is totally normal. Don't let it scare you. If he looks good right now, I'm a little bit concerned about what your end result is going to be like, because he really shouldn't be good yet. Okay, now I'm going to start mixing some blue. I had used ultramarine blue before, so I'll do the same. And I've got that mixed with my black. I'll pull a little bit of my light blue over that. So these are the shiny marks. Now, this is not the exact same blue as the reference photo. It does not matter. Don't worry too much about the exact color. What I'm worried about are my values. Are my lights light enough, my darks dark enough? That is the only thing that really matters here. If you find yourself feeling a little bit frozen, like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do next because I don't know what color to use, you are focused on the wrong thing, because the color is not the thing that is going to make your work look better. The thing that makes your work look better are your contrast. Darks dark enough, lights light enough. I mean, if the color mattered that much, then black and white pieces wouldn't look good. The reason that they look realistic is because the value, it's the lights and the darks in there being correct. Get a little bit of blue right in there, right around the side of the head, and that is going to fade out into the background a bit. I'm just mixing my ultramarine blue and then that light blue. Now, one of the things that you're not really seeing is every time I load this, I tap it. I've got a paper towel on my easel below me. I just tap it once so that it's not too heavily loaded. Otherwise, things get a little crazy on the canvas. Got a little bit of that blue right along the back here. Now, his expression, when we get those eyes in right, and we'll come back to talking about why that's going to completely change his expression from crackhead kitty to like this softer look. And it's because the eyes right now look like they're staring at you, like there were substances involved. When we do the shading is very important. And I say that kind of jokingly because I want you to really remember, like, if you don't get that shadow on the upper right in this area when we get to that stage, your animal looks like a crackhead, unless it's an owl or a bird, which, I mean, also fitting. So that is just something to keep in mind there. The shading will completely change the perspective, or not the perspective, the expression. Same thing with people. When you don't get that shadow under the upper eyelid, they look like they're staring at you like, again, substances. So we want to really make sure to get that shading. But I point that out because I want you to really notice right now how he looks really unsavory. Look how much blue I'm using. Like, it's a decent amount that we want to fit in there. I'm going to even start pulling a little bit of magenta in with the blue. So now I'm mixing all three colors. I'm going to pull a little bit of that over the red so I get this pretty purple. Let's get a little bit more. A little bit more of a shadow in here. A little bit of that purple right above the bridge of the nose, or right above the nose. And we've got some purple down here. Oops, I just grabbed brown for some reason. I don't know why. I'm just going to tap that off. Now notice how many colors we use in black. We tend to look at an animal that's black. I've heard this a lot, that people are afraid, like a black lab, to draw, that it's too hard because it's just all black. What colors do you use? All the colors. There are so many colors in black animals. Same thing if you're drawing a person who has black hair. You're going to include a lot of colors in there. Now it's going to depend on the texture of the hair, what colors get pulled in, but usually you're going to have a lot. Okay, let's touch up a little bit more with the darker blacks. where it needs to go, and then we're going to spray this and get started with colored pencil. And what I'm doing, it's essentially like sculpting. I'm creating dimension where those shadows and highlights are right now. Like there's no detail, but I should start getting a little bit of dimension in here. We want to create form, not just flat lines. Python said the animal looks like Christian Lassen when you didn't get that shadow under the eyelid. That's a very good way to put that. If you know, you know. Just a little bit more shading. Now, one thing you have got to break the habit of, and I know some of you are going to have this, is using your hand to wipe away shavings or, in this case, little bits of dust. Don't do that. With Pan Pastel, I just blow on it or have this little rocket thing. I don't have it listed in the video description. I should. I need to add that. But this works great. Just squeeze it and it blows off any dust without you accidentally spitting on your artwork. Ask me how I know that's an issue. Actually, I had a student that did that once. She'd been eating In-N-Out. Yeah, that did not come off her artwork. Okay, that is good. We're going to lightly mist that. I'm going to use Spectrafix, and I've got it in this fine mist sprayer. I'm just going to lightly go over that. Let me make sure my hairdryer is plugged in. Yeah, we're good. Now the Spectrafix is helping that pastel to adhere to the paper more long term. It really stays there. But if I take my hand and rub it across that, there's no amount of Spectrafix I'm going to put on this that is going to make it smudge proof. This needs to be framed behind glass. What it's doing is it kind of seals it down. It helps it to just really adhere better. So let's say I wanted many, many layers of Pan Pastel. In every few layers, throw a coat of that on there. It just really helps it to stick. When you frame your artwork, whenever you're using pastels, chalk, or anything like that, like even not just Pan Pastels, but regular Pan Pastels, sorry, itchy nose. Oh, this is my allergy season. But anyway, you'll notice on the bottom of the mat where the pastel starts to kind of collect a little bit of dust. It's not that bad, but you do want to seal it, and it just helps it stick to the paper better. So there we go. Okay, I am going to start. Let's put a piece of glassine up here so I can rest my hand. This glassine is actually really large. It was from the fox I was working on this week. Okay, and I'm going to start with, let's get the blue for the eye and white for the shine and black. And I've got my polychromos out right now. I don't know if I'll end up using my other colors. We'll see if I have to grab something else. I'm being lazy. These are just what I've had out for this week's Patreon project. And I'm just using a little handheld comb sharpener. And just because you can write with a pencil does not mean it's sharp enough. You want it really sharp. That's going to help it to the pencil. Not only do you have more control, it gets into all the little nooks and crannies of the paper so you don't end up with that grainy, gritty look. Let's go ahead and throw that shine in now. I want to make sure that's rounded off. I'm going to push a little bit harder so that's nice and dark. And let's get blue on that outer edge of the shine. Just using a light blue there. And if that doesn't show up enough, I'll probably grab some more opaque pencils. I'll save that for now. I need a orangey color. Let's go with this one is Sanguine. No, I've not had any. Well, I don't use the Spectrafix bottle that the Spectrafix comes in, but let's see, Fly Me to the Moon said, have you had any issues with the sprayer with the Spectrafix? Does it get clogged? No, but I don't know if you can see. Look at how the thing, you can see there's like a plastic like container inside the container, and that thing is, oh, you can't see there. It is getting all wrinkly, so I think that's going to have to be replaced. But I've never had the sprayer get clogged. So I'm going to take this Sanguine and I'm going to go right around the edges. Look at that little detail. What a difference that starts making in these eyes. And let's grab the white. I'm going to lighten a bit at the bottom. And this is just the polychromos white, so it'll lighten it without being too opaque. If I need it to be really opaque, I want to go with something that's a bit more, well, opaque, like the Caran d'Ache Luminance or the Derwent Drawing or Derwent Light Fast pencils. But here, where I just want to lighten it a bit, this is the better one. And if you go a little too crazy, like I just did, let's grab another green. I'm just going to pull that green back down a little bit around the eye there. And let's see what else. So now we need to start getting these shadows. I'm going to use a little bit of black there. And then I'm going to switch over to the green on top of that. I'm pushing a lot harder here. Now I do want to use a more opaque white. I'm going to use my Pablo white and see how that works because it's out and I'm too lazy to get something else. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to stop being lazy and grab, oh, I'm being lazy for no reason. I've got a white right here in Derwent Drawing. There we go. Now a little bit more detail. And I'm going to focus most of my detail around the eyes and it'll loosen up as we move out. So the majority of the time is being spent here. I'm going to use the Pablo white just right along that edge. Got a little bit right here too. Make sure that inner corner is rounded and then the shadow comes out. I'm pushing pretty hard on the definition for that upper lid and then into the shadows here. So I start putting a lot more pressure. A little dark there. Now that right here, see how light that is? That is too much. Go over that. Calm down. I'm going to round that off a little bit more. Do the same thing up here. Let that dark fade. Okay, I actually need an extender or a different black. This is getting uncomfortable with how much I'm going to have to use that black tonight. It may be worth just grabbing a new pencil or figuring out where my extender is. 1 second. New pencil it is. Probably faster than finding an extender. One of these days, I'm going to go through and organize the studio. Although in that case, I'll just lose everything. Organizing means now I can't find anything. So that's not always ideal. Does anyone else have that problem when they organize things? Suddenly everything goes missing. Okay. So now I'm going to focus on some of these dark areas, and actually let's grab another blue. You'll work. This is, I think, light ultramarine. Yep, that's perfect. So I'm going to use mainly focus right now. Just keep it simple. I'll use the black to define the dark areas and that mid ultramarine. And I had, which is this one? This is light red violet. That should work for the more purpley in between tones. Yep, just for tinting the color a little bit. And I'm pushing pretty hard here. And watch the direction of the fur. And still watching the direction of the fur. Now, as I get into here, the fur is really, really short. Don't try to put in individual hairs on the nose there. It's just going, you'll get that werewolf scraggly, like hairs growing where it doesn't need to be growing look. That is not, the fur on the bridge of the nose is super short. Also, we have from D-Lin Creative Art said, hello pups. Sorry, I had to contribute. LOL, National Pet Obesity Day. Oh God, is that a thing? I was, let's see, October 11, 2023. What do you think? Yeah? You got a tilty head? Wade's ignoring us. Oh, no, he moved. Would you like a super chat? Yes, he would. He'd say, thank you, Lynn. Come on, Wade. Thank you for snooting on me. That was lovely. Very appreciated. Okay. No, I saw you snap at that. No, there you go. You're supposed to make eye contact first. Wade, by the way, if you've been around for a while, I've been complaining about he's very chompy, like he gets my fingers all the time. When he just sees a treat, he doesn't even care what the treat is. He just grabs for it and then like decides if he liked it after it was swallowed 5 minutes ago. Go lay down, lay down. So I couldn't break him from it. Like my normal tricks to teach a dog just did not work on him. His brain does not work normally. So yeah, I finally got him to start making eye contact. That was the new rule. And that was a little bit hard for the first couple of days because he wouldn't make eye contact. He's just like zoned in. There's the treat. I can't take my eyes away from it. So it started with like quick glances at me, or I'd wait long enough where he's like, are you gonna give that to me? And it worked. Now he makes eye contact for longer, but it is like, what a difference. What a weird, I don't know why that was the thing that worked for him, but he's doing really well with it. So anyway, not that it matters for the live stream, but there you go. Okay, back to work. Thank you, D-Lin Creative Arts. Let's see. And we have Gibson who wants to have a whole discussion about whether or not he really wants that treat versus a different treat. Maybe you could get him something else. Like Gibson's super picky compared to Wade. Got around the eye here. I'm going to start pulling blue and really watch the direction of the fur. This is where we start to do a lot of refining the shape. Even here, I'm not drawing in individual bits of fur, just where's that shadow and look how dark it needs to be there. But then how light we want this blue to be. We're going to switch over to that violet color right above the nose. And if I want a few little highlights, I'm going to switch with, stick to the polychromos just because it's not too opaque. Very lightly go across this. Now this gives you that more velvety look, which is perfect for the bridge of the nose. This, I want it to be a little bit grainy or gritty to get that texture. I'm going to pull the black down a little bit further though. Coming back over here, same thing. Let's worry about, pay attention to where the blue is and which direction the fur goes. See how it moves its way out. I am constantly looking at that photo. You want to spend more time looking at your photo than your artwork. That's a hard thing to get in the hang of doing. I need a highlight here. That blue's not showing up enough, so I'll switch to white. I don't care if it's the right color. I just need the values there, which also means I need to make this one out here a little bit more. See how much longer the fur strokes get in here. The other thing to notice, the fur, one, it has to overlap. That's huge. It has to overlap. You don't want individual lines. That looks like confetti. Look how it groups together. That, and then the other thing, just your values and watching, well, still clumps. I guess it's kind of the same thing. How long is the fur? Which direction is it moving in? Little lines in here where his whiskers are going to come through, which makes such a difference. Oh my gosh, that's probably my favorite part in drawing animals, is when you get to put the whiskers in. It makes such a difference, and this whole area gets really dark. His little floofy chin. But the other thing, so there was another thing. The other thing with these guys, when you've got long fur, you don't need all the individual strands. They're more solid, fluffy. You want it to look soft. The fur is just kind of mushed together. It's one mass of cotton versus individual strands. Individual strands gives you a very wiry texture. Think any wire hair dog, wire hair doxy. My brain went away. But you don't want, like even here, I'm getting a little bit more sketchy than I probably want that end result to be. Same thing in here. This is just fluff. Like it's so cottony. You don't have a bunch of individual strands. It's just kind of mushed together. Now the mat is going to cut a lot of this off. But I want to make sure, I just pulled the color way out farther than it needs to be, just so I don't have to worry about if I didn't quite go far enough, if that makes sense. See how it just overlaps? Really fluffy. And I'm going to make a little bit more of a transition. I don't want just the black into the blue. I'm going to take that violet right in between those two, which looks way more violet in person than you're seeing there. I'll have to show you the color saturation. Actually, let me see if I can fix that. Color saturation's a little bit low. That looks better. Oh, look at you working as you're supposed to, Elgato. I knew you could do it. I'm gonna take a little bit of white, pull some highlights on top of this. And again, this isn't gonna make it white. This is the polychromos white, so it's gonna be more translucent. Even on something like this, where normally I don't use the pencils like that, but here, because I want that soft fluff, and it's okay if you've got that grainy, gritty look, just works for the fluff. So I'm gonna hold the pencil to the side, but I still have to watch the direction. See how it curves? None of these lines are completely smooth. Everything is at least slightly curved. So get up into this ear, we can darken that up. We've got a few little hairs sticking out. little bit more purple in there to darken that up. And then let's use some blue, and we'll use some white for some hairs sticking out. Why is ear fur or ear fluff in animals so adorable, but so unattractive in humans? Random thoughts that go through my head while I'm drawing. I mean, you never hear anyone tell an older gentleman that their ear fluff is cute. But seriously, that's adorable. Okay. Let's work over here. We've got this highlighted blue, and even though this isn't light enough, I'm going to start with this. See how it's more solid? I'm not even worried about a bunch of individual strands. We've got that more blue up in here as well, and over this little eyebrow. And then where we want it much lighter, we'll take the white and lightly go over that. Don't put too many hairs in there. Again, he's very, very soft, cottony. The ear gets cut off by the mat. This whole area gets chopped. And we've got a few little individual strands we'll stick in there. And back to the blue. Oh, we've got more cute ear fluff. So I'm starting with black, getting that inside, and then I'll come through with a blue and then a bit of white. A little bit more black up here. I'm going to go right over some of these and tone it down so it's not just flat white. See, I'm taking the black over the ends. So it looks like I've got a little bit of a highlight there. That's another thing when you're drawing fur, you're going to get more dimension if one strand isn't just one color all the way through. See how in this case it went black, faded to white, and then back down to black. Oops, let's not start with white. Let's start with blue. Pay attention. Oh, we had, let's pause for a second. Aline said, finally made it to a live and I missed the boys. Spoil them for me. Boys, be gentle with mama's hand. Enjoy. Did you hear that? Gibson heard that. Would you guys like a super chat from Aline? I think that's a yes. Good boys. Do you see how good the cow was? It's so gentle. Him's doing so good. Don't choke on it. You always choke. You're supposed to chew it. Okay, now go lay down. Down, 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 down. I'll sit here and just keep saying down. Gibson, lay down. Cow, down. I know you're itchy. Wade, Wade. He's having major allergies lately. Lay down. We'll give you some more Benadryl later. Lay down. Wade, down. Stubborn greyhounds. Okay. I'm so impressed though with how good Wade's doing with not chomping my hand. That whole eye contact thing is amazing. Okay, we were working on the blue. And we've got this side of the mouth we need to focus on. Round off his little snoot. We've got these rows, these lines that come down. I'm going to highlight those a little bit more over here too. A little highlighting on it, or some detailing around the eye. And then we have the magenta. Let's pull that in here. I'm going to let that fade into the fur. That gets longer as it comes out. That needs to fade into the black there. See, one of the things that I see people make a mistake of a lot of times when they're drawing animals is that they try to force lines. Like if you look at the reference photo, which you can have anywhere on your screen you want. So those of you who are getting ready to complain that it's not on my screen, you can make that happen. I'm not letting that go because it's funny. I'm hilarious. Anyway, the point, move on, Lisa. The point here, look at how this fades. Don't force a line. Don't try to force the jaw. If you can't see, if you look at that reference photo and it fades into a shadow, let it fade into a shadow. When you start trying to force detail, it looks weird. I see people do this all the time on dogs where half the face is in shadow. That makes for a striking portrait. Leave it in shadow. Don't try to pull out the eye detail that you can't see. It doesn't look the same anymore and you're not going to get it right, I promise you. So let that fade. Most of this is going to get cut off by the mat as well. Get that in there. Then we've got the blue fluff is also in the rough here. A little bit of a shadow in there. Now I'm going to come back through with the white right on that edge. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hold this to the side so I get that softer look. It's got a bit of a little lion mane going on here. Pull these shadows back in where they belong. This whole area is way too light. Now, another thing that you can do if you need things to be softer, go back to your pan pastels. You can layer these right over your colored pencils. So if I want a softer black, but the pencil's a little harsher than I want, let's just add that on top. And look how nice and soft that result is. Same thing down in here where it's a little bit scraggly. Let that fade out. If I go too dark, no big deal. I can come right back on top with the colored pencil. You can layer back and forth. The MeWe does a pretty good job of taking multiple layers. You can just soften some of that out. And even here, let's say I want a little bit more with the blue to be a bit softer. Same thing, I can just lightly go over that, soften that out. So it lets it just blur off to the side there. And let's come through with some light blue and white. Let's get a few more highlights over here. Just softens that out. Now let's give him some whiskers. That's my favorite part. I'm going to use my Pablo, my Caran d'Ache Pablo white. The reason, it's just more opaque. I'm not a huge fan of the Caran d'Ache Pablos for most things. It's not a brand that I would say run out and buy the whole set. I use it mainly for final details and only a few colors, like the black and the white. I've got a few colors, but mainly black and white. I'll use them for when I'm working on sanded paper, whether I'm using powder blender with colored pencils and those final layers where I want a waxy or thin pencil for like tiny little lines, or in this case, just some little details like the whiskers. Make sure these overlap. You don't want them just spread out evenly. It won't look very natural. I'm not pushing very hard at all. These ones are much more translucent. And then I can come back on a few of these that are there and just make it stand out a bit more. Not everywhere. I want that variation where it fades from like really bright, really in your face to not. So I get a more natural look. A few up here. Few tiny little details. Since we got this done pretty quickly, I can spend a little bit more time fussing over some details. Like the little lines on his face here. I wanted to define that a little bit more. And then some of these I want it to stand out more, so I'm going to switch to, yeah, that one is the white. Pull out a few highlights right on the edge of his little mouth. That's going to help this to come forward like it's sticking out more. It gives it a little bit more dimension. I don't know why I'm putting detail in here. The mat covers it. I'll show you what it looks like with the mat, so you can see what I mean. Where is the mat? So this is how it will fit in the mat. So a lot of this gets covered by that. But I'm not done. I've got some more time, so I can sit and fuss over some stuff. Like I actually want to make my eyes a little bit darker. I'm going to use Sanguine right up in those edges. Let's pull a little bit more color. Not because that's what's in the reference photo, but because I think it will look nice. Actually, I'm going to add a Sanguine in a few areas. I think that will look good. Oh yeah, that looks really good with the blues and the purples. I want to pull even more white. Again, this gets cut off with a mat, so not sure why I'm fussing over that, but I am. This whole area can use a little bit of work on correcting the direction of the fur. So let's see, this whole area, let's darken that up. And little things like this, just changing where that dark is will completely change with the cat. Like that just changed its expression completely by pulling that dark out further. Little details like that. What I normally will do is take a step back from it. So let's say I think I'm done. I'm going to come back the next day and look at it again because I may notice something. And usually when I do that, I won't even do it with a reference photo. Look at it, let it stand alone as its own piece. One of the things that a lot of people have a problem with, actually somebody posted this over in the Patreon Discord this week, which was just such a good example because it happens so often. She is working on a macaw, sorry for calling you out, but it looks gorgeous. I don't have the reference photo. It's the one, my lesson with the 12 colored pencils. I don't have the reference photo out. But it looks like, looking at her artwork as a standalone, stunning. I mean, the contrast, the values, oh my gosh, stunning. She hated it and was ready to throw it away because it didn't look just like the reference photo. Sometimes you want to go ahead and use the reference photo, go for close. But when you hit that point where you're like, oh, it's not close enough, I don't like it, put the reference photo away. Look at the artwork on its own merits, by itself without the reference photo, and decide if you need to make changes. Now, I'm not saying throw the reference photo away. You're going to go back and forth and look at the two. But sometimes we need to look at the artwork on its own because our goal is not necessarily to make a perfect copy. I mean, while we're working, our brain is saying, yes, copy it exactly. But as an artist, we want to improve on that. We want to go ahead and make adjustments, put our own tastes, our own things in that. Maybe you use more teals than the reference photo calls from. That would be me. You know, things like that, something that's just you. That is okay. It doesn't need to be exact. Put the reference photo away. Come back the next day, 2 days, 3 days later with fresh eyes when you have not looked at the reference photo, then decide if you like the artwork. So that is a much better way to to judge your work on whether or not you like it very much or not, or if it needs more work. When you have sat in front of this for as long as I have, even tonight, as quick as this project is, just sitting in front of it for very long, you kind of lose sight of what exactly you're doing. Just some little teeny details, makes the fur look shiny. Oh, I like this guy. Again, you can bid on him. Link is in the video description. I don't think he has any bids, and the opening bid, if I did my job right, I think is $65. Did I even list him? I think I listed him. Or maybe I had to go up because, yeah, 65. I think I was supposed to raise my prices on those because shipping is killing me. Stop. Just a few little details. Don't overdo the details in here. We just want to get the hint of some of these bits of fur. I am so happy with this one. See, these hairs right there are a little on the scraggly side. That's where I want to come back through. Let's wipe some of this off, and I want to use some white, a little bit of blue, and let's soften that out because that fur is supposed to be soft. Much better, much softer. And I'm just going to shade that a little bit with the pencil on the edge. And let that fade into the black so it's not such a harsh line right there. That's much better. Oh my gosh, I love how this one came out. Oh, I gave myself goosebumps. Okay, let's figure out where I need to sign it. So when you want to sign your work, I don't like, where's my buttons? I don't want to just sign it down here because I know that's going to get cropped by the mat. This is designed, it's supposed to be a 5x7. So about like that. And I am going to sign you. Do I want to sign you here? Here. I like the balance here. I want the weight here and not there. So I'm just going to. There we go. So the signature, it seems like, well, it's right in the face of the cat, like, oh my gosh, that's going to be too much. It's small, it's light, you can see it, but it's not, hi, I'm here, look at me. I don't want my signature. It should be clear. And I have seen people sign their work on the back. Don't sign your work on the back. Let people, the name is good. That's like, if it's going to be a value, it's going to be because of your name. Put it on the front. But also, I don't need it like Bob Ross used to do these big, bold red signatures. And maybe they weren't that big, but they were like in your face. I prefer something a little bit more subtle. So let me show you over here. There we go. Nice little cat. If you want to bid on him, again, the link is in the video description. He will come with a black mat. He's a 5x7. The one matted, it makes an 8x10, so you would buy an 8x10 frame. You want to put him behind glass. Any cheapy frame you can get at Walmart, Target, where I don't think they're cheap at Target, but you can get it Michael's, wherever, and just pop him in there, and he is ready to hang on your wall. So the link is in the video description if you are in the US, if you would like to bid on him. Wow, it is not, I'm a minute before 9. I am doing good time-wise. Okay, whoops. Hitting buttons on my phone I'm not supposed to hit. So the next thing we are going to talk about, the owl. Let me clean my hand first because I have pan pastels all over the place. Wow, I made one heck of a mess. Good enough. So the owl, where is he? And this is actually, if you get one of my 5x7s, or any of the stuff that comes matted. This is what it looks like. I actually want to start by showing you the mat. So it's in the mat, and it's also got a white cardboard on the back. So you're not, like, this isn't pushing on the art anywhere. It's a really safe way for shipping. I like that, and then I put it in cardboard. But that is the mat. These ones I get from Amazon. I need to link it in the video description. These ones I get these mats from Amazon. It's Golden State Art is the seller. I've been using them since way before they were on Amazon for years. Very happy with their mats, and I'll get like a bulk size of, you can get them in sets as low as 5 and up to like 25 or 50, you can, depending on how much you want. But that owl, what you saw last week was this was the end result last week. Now the video, of course, it looked worse. That one was really bad on how it looked. I was not happy with how it looked on the video, but that's what he looked like at the end of last week. Now he did not sell, so why not make him better? And now I can sell him for more. So I spent a few hours, and that's what he looks like right now. Now, what were the differences? Why does he look different? Now, again, on the video, I know, was it Baby Panda sent this? It wasn't as extreme as it looked on video, the difference between the two, because again, the video, just when I'm working on the webcam, it tends to make things very, oh, I should scoot this way. It makes things very harsh, almost like big, heavy chunks. So it wasn't that different, but look what it is now. What was the difference in the two? Time. I took my time, spent a couple hours. I want to say maybe it was 2 hours of work, and you can see around the side of the head, this side of the head. There we go. It would be this side of his head. That side of his head, I came through with some violets and blues, and that just balanced out the blue that was in his face better. The other thing that I did was use a product, it's brush and pencil touch-up texture and titanium white. You mix these two together, and you can actually paint it on top of your colored pencils. So there were areas on here where none of my white pencils were getting as opaque as I wanted them to be. I mixed this and painted it over it. You may think, well, can't I just paint white? I've heard people use white acrylics. Can I use Inktense? Can I use ink pens? People use those all the time. Sure, if you don't care if it's archival, but those are, your colored pencils are wax and oil based. You can't put a water-based product on top of it and expect it to be archival. I want to be able to sell this, so it needs to be archival. And the only product I know of, there are products that make the claim, but I've not seen their test results, and given what they're selling it for on Etsy, if they're even still in business, I just don't trust them. I was actually contacted by one who wanted me to promote their work, and I'm like, I don't think you did the testing required for my standards of feeling comfortable using this on my work. I don't know what this woman had made it out of, but I know what went into the brush and pencil products, and the amount of testing, extremely expensive. And it sucks because most people can't afford to do that sort of testing. And so that's why the lady who's on Etsy, I'm like, I know it's going to be hard for you to get into this field and be taken seriously, but I also know it's so expensive to do the testing. You have to make such an investment, and I don't see the results or the proof that you've done any of that. So I've talked myself with Brush and Pencil with Aliona, who created this product. I know what she did, like, to get this done by actually hiring a real lab and doing the testing, and it was a whole thing. I trust Brush and Pencil products. I don't trust anything else over colored pencil, not to stick long term. So anyway, that was a big thing. I came through, if you look around in front of his eye by his beak, that whole area, I just couldn't get it bright enough with the colored pencil. But the main thing, a lot of the time when you look at your work and you're just not super thrilled with it, this is not a difference of skill level. Same artist, one night apart. It was the next night, I believe, I went through and made those adjustments. Maybe it was the night, I think it was the next night. And that difference isn't a skill level thing, it's a time thing. I took my time. If your work is not looking how you wanted it to, it just feels a little messy, it's a time thing. And that's not to say that the first one wasn't good. I think he's cute. He looks a little bit more like a stamp, but it's a more stylized look, and he's cute. I want to be able to sell them for more. I feel like I should put more time into them if I want to sell them for more. And so that's where we got that softer look. But the reason that is so soft looking on the one above it, obviously I spent more time. I did a lot of layering. Notice that the colors, like when I blend from the browns into the purples, into the blues, they overlap each other. That is very important. So it's like brown and the blues overlap. The blues and the purples overlap. Everything sort of fades into each other. The other thing is my handy, where is it? There it is, OMS. Which is almost dry. My odorless mineral spirits. I use this for blending a lot. Now, the base of this is watercolor. If I were to blend, like go over this with water, yeah, it would mess up my base layers. They would kind of lift up. OMS does not affect watercolor. I can blend my colored pencil over it with OMS, no problems, giving me that softer look, the more refined details, cleaning up edges. Like I spent some time around the eye pulling more violets around the eye. You can see the difference there. I really, heather is the actual color I used, really went around that edge. But the layering, if you look at the black that goes around the outside of his face there, it no longer, on the original one, it was black into brown and then into the white. Here I took a little bit more time, faded it blue. So black in the blue in the brown and then into the white. So it's just that little extra. And it's not that I did a bad job for the live stream. I'm limited on time for the live stream. So I get a more stylized look for that. And then here is, I mean, I guess it's still technically stylized because I've got the blues and the purples in there, which is definitely something I do a lot of my stuff. But time in layering to get that softness that I really wanted. So let's go ahead and see. Now that's an interesting question. Jason said, if there's an issue of time when we do these sessions, will you be able to demonstrate in longer sessions? No one watched them. You think you want them? Trust me, people weren't watching them. And that was one of the reasons, if you guys remember, when was it? 2021 was the last year. I took 2022, excuse me, off with live streams. People weren't watching anymore. I get like 50 people watching. And it was like, now YouTube and their search, and yeah, we've got a lot of stuff going on with that. But people did not want the multiple parts sessions. This, I mean, the cat obviously came out fine, and I was able to do it in one lesson, and now that's going to be a complete lesson that I can upload as a standalone lesson that's not a live stream, and just because of the way that the YouTube search works, that's a good thing to have. But yeah, that guy is, it's just a different style. I mean, the live streams, I've had better success doing a full lesson. It's just not as time consuming. I mean, and even on that owl, at what point, like, I could work on them for hours if I wanted to. Like, how much time should I put into one project? And if you look at the stuff that I had on sale, it's posted still on Instagram and MeWe, not the sale prices anymore, but the stuff I put on sale this last weekend, those were from a live stream back in 2021, I believe, and they were multiple parts. I mean, some of those projects took months to finish, but it was months, and people just didn't want to watch it. And so while you may say you like it, most people just didn't. So that's why I changed the way that I do these live streams, so we have a complete lesson and then the chat and getting more work done. And then if you want the full lesson, that's the thing. You want the full lesson where it's the long stuff, like the fox that I'm working on right now, which, oh my gosh, so much work. And I've decided to change the background, so that's more work. I'll be doing that tomorrow. But that's on Patreon. I have those longer lessons, so I've got both options. The people who did not want the long ones, you know, just the simple stuff on the live streams, we've got that. But and it's not even just that they're simple. Well, they are, but they're fast and easy. Sometimes somebody just wants an easy project to go through that's fast, and this gives me the opportunity to provide both, something that's more basic, more simple, faster, and the really long, really involved fox that I'm working on. So there we go. Let's go ahead and get to the questions from earlier. Yeah, and I've questioned myself, honestly, on that. Like, should I put more time? Should I just do 1 and 2 parts so I can spend more on? Why? I mean, if people didn't want to watch it, they didn't want to watch it. And I just kind of have to go by that. So what am I looking at? There we go. Have I ever owned a cat, or am I just a dog person? I did own a cat. I mean, I grew up with a Himalayan who was more like a dog, so I thought I was a cat person. I had her from the time I was 4 until I was 21 when she finally passed. That was very traumatic. But I mean, I grew up with this cat, Blue Point Himalayan. Her name was Danielle, and she was amazing. But yeah, I got another Himalayan after she passed. That was not the same personality, not the same. And then I realized, yeah, I'm a dog person. I'm definitely a dog person. Cats are cute at your house. Cats don't fit in with my lifestyle. They chew on your plants, knock things off the counter, which is hilarious when it happens at your house. So I'm a cats at your house person. How's that? Yeah, dogs are definitely, I like the training aspect. I mean, even though, I mean, some people say that sighthounds are the cats of the dog world. They are very stubborn, but yeah, definitely, I'm a dog person. Yes, I do use pencil extenders. DJ RN Mix, registered nurse mix? I don't know. I have one. I like the Derwent ones the best. So here's a Derwent one. This pencil was too thin, so I wrapped tape around it. Oh, you can't see. Wrong camera. This one is a Derwent one, and they come in two pack. You've got the black one, which fits my polychromos perfectly, and then the silver one fits my Caran d'Ache Luminance because they're a little bit thicker, fits them well. And then I've got the Derwent Lightfast that's somewhere in the middle. That's what you see here, and it didn't quite fit, and so I just wrapped tape around it, and now it fits perfectly. And yeah, I love my pencil extenders, but half the time I can't find them because I put them away in weird places. Let's see. But Derwent, like that is, of all the extenders I've tried, this is the most comfortable. I've got some other ones. Generals makes one. It has this lump. I don't have one over here, but it's got like this metal ring. And the way that I hold my pencil, that ring hits this part of it is the most painful, uncomfortable experience. So yeah, Derwent is my favorite there. Snow said, thank you for doing the cat, Lisa. I told some people I was going to draw their black cats, but I couldn't get myself to be ready to do it. Oh, I'm glad I could help. Baby Panda said, thank you so much for explaining all the additions you made in the owl. Yay! Noctis said, I love these live streams. I love the structure of the art demonstration at the beginning and the Q&A in the second half. And Patreon is amazing. I love the hours-long demonstrations. Oh, yay! I made you happy. That makes me happy. Because sometimes you have days where people actually today was the same person complaining twice in email. They weren't happy about the medium I was working in tonight. Okay. But anyway, yeah. So, it's nice to hear that you like what I'm doing. Let's see. If you have questions, we've got 45 minutes. Like, ask some involved things because I'm out now, or out of things to talk about. Let's see. Art of Raven D said it really depends on the cat. We got 3 different personalities. Oh, totally. And that was the thing with my cat. Like the first one, she was more like a dog. And then I'm like, well, I had other cats after her and they were not like a dog. And I'm like, after they passed, it was like, yeah, no, it's just not I'm not going to risk, am I getting a cat? Am I getting a dog cat? Or I could just get a dog and it's a dog. If that's what I wanted, why not just get the dog? They don't get on my counters and knock my stuff up or eat my plants. Although some dogs could, so it depends on the breed. Let's see. Let me scroll back up. Yes, Nick plugging me over there. If you like these longer live streams, or not longer live streams, longer lessons like the Fox that I'm finishing up, I'm just going to keep talking about that. You can sign up at Patreon for as little as $6 a month. You get access to all of my longer videos. There are 400. I've been saying 300 for a while, so I'm probably going to mistakenly say that for a while. Mistakenly say that. I feel like that grammar wasn't correct. But yeah, there are over 400 videos. There are not a lot of people offering that many classes for $6 a month. Like when I used to teach in-person classes, those were, and this was, pre-inflation prices were $20 for a 2-hour course. $6, 400 projects to choose from. It's crazy. So yes, you can sign up for that, patreon.com/Lachri, and you get instant access to all of those videos, plus other, depending on what tier you get different bonus content, which I need to work on last month's Patreon. I'm behind, just so you know, I'm behind on Patreon postcards again. So I will be working on those this week. Let's see. Nick says, not a fan of cat litter boxes. Yeah, that I wasn't a fan of either. Although there are certain types of litter boxes and like the litter crystals and stuff that make it not so bad. But the problem I was having is Jessie kept going in, my Italian Greyhound, when I finally went back to dogs, she kept going into the litter box and helping herself. Now that is not the cat's problem or fault, but it was still like, really? Let's see. Yes, Joseph. Is correct, and I have said this to him many times. All cat people are masochistic sociopaths. You know how he knows that? Because I told him that, because he has 7 cats. See, I like cats at his house creating mischief. I think that's hilarious. Angela said, I learned so much from your live streams. Thank you for sharing. Oh, thank you. Art of Raven D said, my cat's folks is a sweetheart and a love bug. He's getting grumpy in his old age. Aww. Aline said, in need of barn cat, so we'll be a cat person rather soon. Jason said, what are the root cost of the pencil extender for the colored pencil? Because I have generals for the graphite. I'm not sure. It was under $10, I think. I don't remember what the price was, but it wasn't much. And it was a 2-pack. You look on Amazon, Derwent pencil extenders. Karen said, I have a litter robot worth the price. Nice. Yeah, I think if I were to ever like become take up Christian Lassen's hobbies and get a cat, I would, if you know, you know, sorry, I would definitely do one of those robot litter boxes. Those are cool. I like technology, like my Roomba is my favorite thing I own. Let's see. Linda says, yeah, Joseph, I have 3 inside and 12 outside. Oh my gosh. Linda helped me with postcards once. I've never talked about cats so much in my life. Linda is a cat person. Like, I mean, she loves cats. So Linda has been injured trying to get her cats that got out during an ice storm. Like, you want to talk about a cat lover. Linda is like, loves cats more than anyone I think I've ever met, even Joseph. Linda has several of my cat drawings too. Linda is a cat person for sure. Elaine said, why do people complain about the silliest things? I don't know. I don't know why I got 2 emails about the silliest. Okay. Kendra said, I love my litter robot. Dolphin Soul was laughing at Joseph. Let's see. Dolphin Soul said, no, dog just tried to pee on your plants. Cough, cough, bad cow. He did not, it wasn't a plant that he lifted his leg on. And at least that would have been easier to wash. Let's see. Jason said, oh, my cats were cat dog. They were great. Didn't scratch carpets. Nice. Python said, I have some questions from earlier. Oh, let's see. What are your questions? Well, I think that's going to come back up. Jason said, aren't most of the time behind on the postcards? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Kendra said, talk about the differences between hot and cold pressed watercolor paper and what works for colored pencil. You know what? Let's do a quick demonstration. That is a great question. I've got some in here, I think. Let me see. Let me find some paper that I've cut. I don't want to waste anything. Give me just a second. Can you guys hear me still over here? Okay, so I don't have cold press next. I have, what is this, rough press? Or maybe this is a cold press rough press. I don't know. I have this watercolor or this book. So this was one of many, many sketchbooks that I got because it was, look at the paper. Look at how, oh, it's gorgeous. And one of these days I'm actually going to do something with it. But, wow, 2017 I did this. So this is a rough press. This is going to, I think rough press is what it's called. This is like cold press times 100. Like it's good for this because it's going to show you more exactly the difference. It's just a little bit more over exaggerated, if that makes sense. So let's come over here and I'll just probably hold it up. So can you see how rough? Look at the texture. It's almost like working on stucco. I mean, this stuff is thick. Cold press isn't as thick, but look at how you can see the texture. Actually, maybe it is easier for over here. Look at the texture. See how it's almost like crayon? It's really, really textured. I don't know if I used watercolor or Inktense on that. These are let's pull this over here again. This one, these are paintings, but you can see, look at how rough it is. It's not smooth at all. And again, this isn't over exaggerated essentially version of, let's see, actually, let me pull this back. Maybe that will show it better. It's too overexposed again. Back up. There you go. See, you can see the texture in that. Now, cold press isn't this texture. There you go. There's the texture in this. This is, I think, rough press. Rough, something like that. But it's super, super textured. Cold press is not as textured, but it's still textured. And then we have this is hot press. This is super smooth. I don't even want to draw on it because it's just going to mess it up. Hot press, actually, I will show you the difference there. We can use the owl. Hot press would be Oops, hold on, I'm hitting buttons I don't mean to hit. Hot press is that. That is on hot press. See how smooth that is versus the rough stuff like you saw in here. And again, this is rougher than cold press, but cold press is kind of somewhere in the middle. Cold press has a lot more tooth than hot press. Hot press, if I want that tiny fine detail, I like hot press. Now, if you're gonna, like, so cold press would not be something I would use for colored pencil. Beautiful for watercolor, on Inktense. But for watercolor, you can get some really cool effects with the cold press, but it's not something if you're working with colored pencil. If you're using watercolor pencil, none of the, excuse me, I'm burping, I'm classy. None of those are what I would go with for colored pencil. Like colored pencil, I like hot press. Now you can get too smooth though. I don't like Bristol vellum or any of that like really smooth stuff. Now I know some people work on vellum, which is a bit different. It's a whole different technique, but like Bristol vellum that's really smooth, or who has one that's actually just called smooth? I think it's Strathmore. I don't like those papers. There's not enough tooth for me for colored pencil. It just doesn't stick well to it. So you can go the opposite direction from too rough to too smooth. The hot press for me, whenever I'm doing colored pencil, is a nice balance. Unless I'm working with pan pastels or brush and pencil powder blender, then I prefer either Inktense for pan pastels. For pan pastels or powder blender, that I can use sanded paper, but with powder blender, always sanded paper. I worded that in a really confusing way, but there we go. Let's see. Lydia said, what would be the best paper that you have used for the pan pastel and colored pencil combo? Is it just Inktense? My two favorite are Inktense and the sanded paper. And only the Luxe Archival sanded paper. The UArt's the other really popular one everyone uses. Yeah, the back of that is not acid-free. Then the company is so shady about how they worded it. And they said that the people like me who were pointing out that the back was not acid-free don't know what we're talking about, that it doesn't affect the front. It soaks through. And I know this because I tested it with paper that I had stored. Either the paper that was stored from the back was affecting the front because those two touch each other in storage, or it's soaking through. Either way, unacceptable, not okay. Like I have stuff I've done on UArt I can't sell. I cannot comfortably sell it. It's beautiful. I can hang it on my own wall, but I'm not comfortable selling it because I don't know if it's going to last long term. And their thing is, we've had artwork hanging for 30 years in our own office and it never faded. What colors did they use? Some aren't as affected by pH. Some aren't as affected by different things as others. And also, did you have a before photo? Because 30 years ago, we were not taking accurate photos unless you did a lithograph. We weren't getting, and that was so expensive. Most artists didn't do it. So you've got this thing hanging on your wall. It slowly would adjust if it adjusted or changed at all. And you're not going to notice. You're just not going to notice when it happens that slow. So I just don't believe them. And they've said other things that I'm like, wow, you guys are shady as crap. Like I just, theirs is just sandpaper. That company makes sandpaper. And that's all they just rebranded their sandpaper for artists. And oh, it's acid free on the front. And even that is questionable now because the stuff I had in storage isn't. And what gets me are how many artists know that today and still hawk for them. Oh, got to make advertisements for them. Makes you a little shady too, doesn't it? So yeah. Let's see. This is going to jump. Don't jump. Oh, it didn't. All right, Raven D said, we have our litter box covered and turned against the wall enough to let the cats go through because it deters our Boston Terrier from helping himself. My dog was smaller than my cat, so that wouldn't have worked out for me. Let's see. Vicki said, I just finished with the big painting, now looking at a blank canvas. This is the hard part, getting started on something new. Oh my gosh. So right. Do you guys how are the rest of you with that? Because I know for me, I'm the same as Vicki. You look at that canvas and you're like, just to start. Once you get started, once there's some color on there, it gets easy. Like the next day is easy. It's that first day is always like, where do I start? Oops, that just jumped. I knew I was going to do that. Fly Me to the Moon said, what size do you have to cut the paper for it to fit in the mat? Because you have tape on the edges of the paper too. Please talk measuring, converting dimensions. I just go by an extra inch. So this is a 5 by 7. I cut it at a 8 by 6. Yeah, I just added an inch to both dimensions, and that's enough to cover the tape and the mat. So it tapes easily to the mat. Jason said, wow, after 3 years, she understood my shorthand. It doesn't happen often. Yes, you can still bid. I think you can get it for as little as 65. Has anyone bid yet? Someone changed their password. Maybe someone was thinking about bidding. Nope, we got a bid. Oh, somebody, you got a home. You're going to a home, kitty. There you go. You can go knock stuff off other people's counters. Send photos, because I think that's hilarious when it happens to other people. But you can still bid. Link is in the video description. Let's see, Max said, I followed 3 of your acrylic tutorials and I've learned so much. I started with cadmium red, cadmium yellow, ultramarine, black, and white. What other colors can I add now? Deep violet is one of my favorites. Purple dioxazine is another one. So purple, the colors you have, they're not gonna mix a true purple dioxazine. That is one of those colors, just go by. You can mix the greens you want from your yellow and your blue. Like, I never have a problem with that. Purple. Like a good purple dioxazine, true purple is just go buy it, make your life easier. And then I also really like deep violet. Those would be my 2 next go-to colors. After that, I really like red oxide, because red oxide mixed with black gives you a beautiful brown. And depending on how much red, you can get different versions of brown versus, like, I wouldn't just go buy like Van Dyke brown. One with Liquitex Basics, if you're using the same as me. Their browns always get gunky and kind of old very fast. It dries, it starts to dry in the bottle. By very fast, I mean over the period of a couple of years usually, but I can get red oxide and it doesn't really dry, and I just mix the 2 and I get any shade of brown I want depending on how much red or how much black. So those would be my next colors for you. Let's see. Oops, that just jumped. Yeah, Fly Me to the Moon said, I don't like it curls as well. Never buy it. I can deal with curling because I'm just going to tape it down or attach it to something. I can see it. I can't deal with not being archival. I can't deal with the company trying to make it sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. When I've taken the pH pen, I've shown this in video. On the back, definitely not acid-free. Years later, I was doing a demonstration. I did this live to show that the front is acid-free. The back is not. Front wasn't acid-free anymore. So go ahead and tell me again, you are, how the back not being acid-free doesn't matter. Because shady, I do not like that company. I do not trust that company. I would never use anything like, no. Let's see, Python said, my questions are way up top. I can't scroll back. You're just gonna have to type that again. I'm sorry. There's no way for me to scroll to the top. Unless, did Nick send them earlier and I missed it? Because I thought I answered everything. It's possible. Oh, here we go. I found it. You're good. Do pan pastels use cobalt or cadmium pigments? I have no idea. If the cobalt dust is inhaled, you could get deadly cobalt poisoning. I would assume they don't. Let me see. Did they say they're not toxic? Most companies are going to tell you. Let's see. I don't know if it's on this. I think these are non-toxic, so I would assume not. I'm not sure. I would go look at, I believe I looked into that, and I want to say they were non-toxic. Don't take my word for it on that, because it's been a while and I have no memory. Go to like Blick's website and you can look up each thing and it'll give you because they're required by law to provide that. My hair, there's a hair in my face. Stop being in my face, hair. That's really annoying. Why do I keep burping? My God, this is like classy lady night. Look, I even wore a shiny shirt to be extra classy. And then I keep burping. Moving on. So look at any art material that you want. If you go to like Blick or Jerry's, they are going to have it listed with whatever the toxicity stuff is and that sort of information. They're required by law to provide that. So let's see. Rhonda said, cats have staff, dogs have masters. Yes, that is true. Let's see. I'm butchering your name and I apologize. Do you use a blue filter settings on your monitor? I do. Well, sort of. Not on my computer monitor where I'm editing, where I don't want it there. On my phone I do, and sometimes I forget. So sometimes you'll see stuff that if you don't have a blue monitor or filter on yours, you may see my photos sometimes and they look a little bit off. Yeah, it's because I forgot the blue filter was on and I edited the photo without realizing. I do that a lot. So, but on my phone, because that's where I'm like in my face. My phone, I keep that on most of the time, unless if I remember editing and turn that off. But yeah, that's not on my monitor, but on my phone. Speaking of phone, there's something we can talk about. Notice new phone case. So if you guys remember, was it Custom Envy? Case Envy? Maybe it was Case Envy. Hold on, I'll let you know. There is a case, this has my artwork on it, that I ordered. I don't even know what that either. Let's find out. Case Envy? Was that it? I don't think I got it right last time I said that either. Custom Envy. So May 23rd, I ordered cases for my phone. And I told you guys about it, this one and the other one with the flamingo. The other one with the flamingo, I just like that painting better. But it was so bright and so, like, the colors were very, very vivid. There's pros and cons with these cases. One, the one with the flamingo, oh my gosh, it faded like crazy. I don't know where I put that case. It's not in here, so I can't show you. But it did fade. It's still pretty, but it certainly faded colors from May. And I've been using it since May 23rd that I got it, that I showed you guys that case. And there were like corners, which is, I guess, just from sitting on tables, the two corners here were definitely kind of the paint had rubbed off a bit. On the plus side, I drop my phone constantly. I mean, constantly, and it's tile floors in here, so it is never hitting carpet. It has hit so many times. The amount of times Matt has gone, well, there goes your phone, like all the time, and it has protected it. And it's flimsy, like it's thin. It's not a big, thick, bulky case like an OtterBox. And I don't think I've dropped it on cement or like outside, but in the house, this thing goes flying. Like yeah, a lot. And the phone has been totally fine. So it definitely protected it. The downside is it's not a case that I feel I would use for years and years. Like OtterBox I can use for 2 years, whatever. The whole amount of time I have that phone. But with this, it definitely started to look kind of crappy. It was easy to wipe off. So every time I get paint on it or anything, it just wiped right off. That was super easy. But the color definitely faded. When I pulled this one, I was like, was it always faded? Maybe I just had it printed like that. When I put this one the new one next to, or I have two printed, I just haven't been using this. So it's not that it fades when you're not using it. It's definitely from the use of it, and I mean, constantly use my phone. I am definitely a heavy user. And it did fade. Like, this is super bright, super vivid. Do I still think it's worth it? Yeah, I would still buy from this company. Even though it faded, I like to change my phone cases. I mean, that was what, May, June, July, August, September, October. So, it's been almost 5 months. I usually would want to change my case around that time anyway. So I do think it's worth it. I do like that it has protected. This is the Samsung 22 Ultra, whatever, I don't know. It's big. And this thing is hit bad, front, back, everywhere, and it is totally fine. So a little bit of an update on that phone if you are interested in having your artwork printed. Okay. Oh, good. So Nick has been posting all of these to Discord. Let's see if I missed any. What do I think of sprays for UV protection? I think the more you can do to protect your art from UV rays, the better. UV glass, UV sprays, I like all of it. Do I trust it as much as using like actual light fast materials? No. Ideally, I would do both. I want light fast materials. I like UV glass. Now, I don't personally put UV glass on most of my stuff because I'm cheap. The only one that I did that on was a Inktense piece of a red panda I had done with the green background. I've done a couple of red pandas in Inktense, so I guess I do have to specify. But the one with the green background when he was in a tree. And that one was behind UV glass, but it was also in a very bright room and it never faded. So I used UV spray and UV glass to protect that because Inktense. But now those colors might just have been light fast colors. I don't know. It's hard to tell with the Inktense with the blocks, like keeping track of what is and isn't light fast is not an easy thing to do. So I don't worry about it. I just typically don't sell it, except to Dolphin Soul apparently. So yeah, I think that they're good, but I don't think that they completely negate the necessity to use light fast materials, light fast pencils. But if you are going to use non-light fast, I would certainly be using that. Like I said, on the Inktense, I definitely added it to that when I had the one hanging in my house. Sally R. Was that Sally Robertson? Angela said, do you do the parts you like least first to get them out of the way when you do a piece to reward yourself with the parts you like doing more? So, sort of. It depends on what it is. So normally I like to block in the eyes or the ear. Now the ear is one of my least favorite parts to do, but you kind of have to I like to get the ear out of the way because I know I'm going to rush through it otherwise. Now, fluffy ear cats, not an issue. But let's say a greyhound. The fold in the ear is so it's so involved. I want to get that out of the way for two reasons. One, it's usually going to have some of your darker shadows. So it makes it easier to judge the values moving around the rest of the piece. And then the other thing is, get it out of the way before I'm tired and I start rushing through it because I already did the fun part, which would be the eyes. But I usually do the eyes fairly early on too because your eyes are going to have some of the darker areas. The nose, depending on the animal, may have some of the darker areas. I want to block in some of my darkest darks so that when I'm building the values around it, I'm more likely to get things right. If I don't have my darkest darks in there, I start layering in the light areas, like just the random fur and other areas. I always go too light because you're up against the white of the paper and it's like, oh, it's too dark because it's against the white of the paper when in reality it's not dark enough. So if I can lay some of those darkest darks in first, which eyes and ears usually will have that in there, I normally will go with that. But it depends on the piece. There are times, I mean, the fox that I just did, I started with the side, the rough of his, like the side, not even the eye or the ear. But I did do the ear before the eye for that reason. I looked at that going, that's going to take a lot of work. Let's just knock this out of the way before I get lazy. We also, from Robin, said, the spoiled boys need a treat. Look at Gibson's so smart. He's paying attention. Do you boys want a super chat? Say thank you, Robin. Do you get a treat? Oof. I'm too old to bend down there. There you go. Good boys. That was a very nice take. Good job, Bad Cow. Poor Gibson. Wade gets rewarded so much for just not being bad because he's so challenging. Whereas Gibson, we just expect it from him. So, but I'm the best boy. Okay, go lay down. Say thank you, Robin. Lay down. No, not stretch. Go lay down. Gibson, lay down. Gibson. He's like, how far can I push mom and keep doing what I want without listening before she finally snaps at me? Good boys. Thank you so much, Robin. Have I ever created artwork of freshwater fish? I have. Actually, I just finished a cichlid. I'll show you. For a Patreon lesson. There was a specific cichlid that someone was having problems with on getting scales. So where is he? And I painted a lot of goldfish. And for digital painting, I've done flower horns, I've done tetras, I've done a lot of stuff because, so Aquashella, if you're familiar with the Aquashella bit, I always do the badges every year for it. And so half of it is freshwater, half of it is saltwater. So I do digital paintings of a lot of different saltwater fish. I've done angels, I've done so many different stuff for those. But like, yeah, so this was a recent cichlid somebody had requested a lesson on. So he was recent. He's kind of flat because he's just the side, but it was the specific photo I wanted to copy for the lesson. Let's see, we've still got 21 minutes. Oh my gosh. Anyone have anything else they want to chat about or need demonstrations of? I don't know. We've got time. I'm curious. Is it? Let's see. Let me look at something really quick. Oops. Oh, my links are working. It's a Christmas miracle. I think I got your question, Python, didn't I? I'm trying to think of other topics we can chat about. Bearded Dragon tank got mostly finished. I did the sealer with the Mod Podge. Got the doors on the thing. Everything's put together. Now I'm going to let it set for a week or two. Then he gets to move in. So Dragon over there, I don't know if you, actually, wrong camera. Can you, oh, you can't see him. The camera's, he's above. He's sitting up on his branches. But yeah, that'll be soon. That'll be a fun video. Linda said, I guess I'm not meant to have this kitty from you. Didn't you bid? Maybe you will make it a postcard and I'll get to enjoy it then if, I thought you bid. That's actually what I was just looking at. Hold on, I guess I need to log in. Let's see. WordPress, dashboard. What is not working, Linda? WooCommerce. Products. Can't I see who? I don't think it lets me see this way, which is annoying. Oh, it might be a different Linda that bid. That might be why. Why isn't it allowing you to bid, Linda? What's it? You can't get logged in. I am going to send you right now. Hold on. This seemed to work for somebody else. Let's see. Projects, comment, post, media. How did I do that before? Parents, users. Okay. Let's go with Linda. You can also try making a new account, but I'm going to do a password reset. So I just sent that to you. See if that works. I know Nick, who's probably already talked to you with this, but Nick has done where you can, or he said you log in and then close the page and then come, like, go back and into it where you're already logged in. Why? There's like a heart in the way now of this. Can I do a cream colored chihuahua in acrylics one day? Yeah, probably. Tell us my upcoming schedule if possible. I'm going to be doing, so this week, one of the things that I wanted to get done, because I've got to do touch-ups on this fox, so that's taking longer. This is another one of those like multiple videos in one video, so it's way late, but the fox colored pencil one is coming. Then I want to do a demonstration showing you how you can print on watercolor paper my coloring pages and use that for Inktense or watercolor, whatever, to use as a coloring page that way. And that would be essentially an Inktense lesson. And that, for those of you who are on Patreon, whatever coloring page I'll choose, it'll be available for everybody, even if you're not at that tier where you get the coloring pages, but it's kind of a cool thing you can do with Inktense. So that I'm going to probably do this week. I'm actually hanging out. I'm taking Friday night off and hanging out with friends, so which I don't do often. So that's going to, like, taking a single night off, like, puts me behind. So that's why the coloring page one works out good for this week. But then we've got, let's see, there was an owl. I think that was oil paint. There was an owl I wanted to do. I'm trying to think. I wrote it down, but I don't have it in front of me right now. Let me see. Rhonda said, are you going to do a zombie piece for Halloween? Yeah, I should, huh? We should have another zombie snail. I need to add that to my to-do list. We haven't had a zombie snail in a very long time. I'm waiting on Linda to see if we got this fixed, if the password reset. I haven't heard. Wait, what is your username looks like? Couldn't get logged in. That was earlier though. Did it let you yet? That's just an ongoing issue with the site. So hopefully the password reset will work for you. Life is short. Take advantage of the days off. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's my friend Corey, who he works at the fish store and with Aquashella, like that's how I met him. So fish friends are coming, and then the owner of that, the idea was, let's have a night and talk about marketing stuff so I can give him some tips with Instagram or with Facebook ads and stuff that he's been running in an interesting way. I want to help him with that. But we're like, we'll have wine, and it's gonna, I think there's going to be more wine than work when it comes to hanging out with Corey. So that is probably coming. No email, and try to reset password. I am going to delete you, Linda, and have you I kind of hate to do this because I'm like, did you check your spam folder? See if the password reset came? Check that first, and then I can delete your account on my website. No, not on Patreon. This is only through my website, but maybe you can make a new account then if it doesn't mess stuff up. It might make it worse. Yeah, everyone's saying check the spam folder. Elaine said, dang, now that's an interesting fish. Yeah, that was a colorful cichlid. Do I mix my fixative from concentrate? If so, how? Nope. I just buy it ready to go. Like every fixative, I don't thin down anything like that, and I don't want to mess with mixing it. I mean, even when I did the Bearded Dragon tank, which makes no sense if you don't know what I'm talking about there, but I had to seal it, and I went with Mod Podge. A lot of people, in order to avoid having a plasticky look, they will thin it down with water, and it makes it go on easier. The problem is when you thin down a sealer or a fixative, those are results that are very questionable, and I am not comfortable with. So I will go with the plasticky look and hopefully have it sealed better. But I don't like to mess with that sort of thing. So any fixative, they are all pre-mixed, pre-ready to go. I'm still waiting to hear or to see how Linda will give her a minute. Let's see, we had, I think, some other questions. Books and videos. What have I been listening to? Oh, the narrator's great, except on the third book, for some reason, one of the main characters, she's changed her voice. Instead of sounding like a young 15-year-old girl like she should, she now sounds like an old woman who's been smoking all her life. Don't know why that change was made, book 3. But anyway, Amanda Ronconi is an amazing narrator, but it's Molly Harper. The Changeling book, Changeling series, something like that. They're fun. They're lighthearted. They're not like anything I'd listen to over and over again, but they're entertaining enough that while I'm working, I don't really have to pay attention. If I leave the room and come back, I don't really miss anything in the book. It's one of those, but also I enjoy the characters. I like their personalities. That's been fun. Okay, Linda, I'm going to try deleting your account, and hopefully it doesn't screw anything up worse than it was. Here we go. Delete. Delete all content. Specified this user for deletion, but I don't know. My concern is, will it make it so you can't sign up again on that? We're just doing it. We're going to find out. We're using you as a test. Let me know how that went, Linda. You have been deleted. Oh, that feels mean. So basically what I want you to do now, try to make a new account, see what happens. And if not, it would have to be a new email maybe, but I don't know on that. Let's see. But let's see. So books and movies, those are the only books I've listened. I listened to other ones. Oh, I re-listened. Oh my gosh, they're so good. Steel and Stone series by Annette Marie. Like almost everything by Annette Marie I love. Red Winter was not my cup of tea. That main character, I could not stand the whining from the main character, but every other Annette Marie book, so enjoyable. They're not like anything they're not deep thinking things like where you're like, oh my gosh, I really have to think about this. They're just fun. I like them. I like the characters. They're your fantasy type thing. So like the one that were mages, this one, the Steel and Stone series, there were daemons from above and underworld and overworlders that were just like, it was just like post not really apocalyptic, but kind of not good. It was just good. I loved them. So Steel and Stone was great. The narrator on the Steel and Stone series is, she's harder to listen to. She's not my favorite. I usually avoid that narrator. She's one who can't say, is it L's? Yeah, she says follow instead of follow. And that sort of thing, womb instead of room. These sort of things, like for a narrator, that's a speech situation that should be corrected if you're a narrator. And she actually is okay as a voice actress otherwise, but not being able to say L's and R's is a bit of an issue. But you do get used to it after a while, so I do listen to that book. I've listened to that one multiple times. But Steel and Stone series by Annette Marie is amazing. Guild Codex by Annette Marie, also amazing. So yeah, I just listened to all of those over again. Let's see. Dolphin Soul is still on me about a anglerfish idea. That would have to be more of a cartoony type thing, I think, because there's no good reference photos of that. And Linda, what I did should make you have to just sign up from scratch, if that works. And I don't know if it's going to. Let's see. Anyone else have any questions to chat about? We had 9 minutes. You can just sit here and stare at each other awkwardly. Hi, Brittany. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry for your dad's health. I hope he's getting better. Linda said, getting a critical error message. It's okay. Maybe we can get it fixed next time. I can't get it fixed, though. That's the thing. I don't know why it does it. So there's nothing for me to fix because I don't know why it does this to some people. And it sucks. Is there even an update I can do? Like, why are you? No, I don't. Well, wait, what updates do I have? WooCommerce does have an update. Sure, let's update during the live stream. That's not a terrible idea. Let's see if there's anything I can do for users. I mean, refresh, try a different browser. I've been having weird problems lately because I use Chrome normally. I've been having weird problems with Chrome that I switched to Firefox. It was working faster, no problems on some of these websites. I was having problems logging in with Scentsy, actually. Huge problems, so that might make a difference. Yes, and on a PC, a phone is always going to cause problems for this. So, yeah, I'm sorry that that's causing issues. But yeah, desktop works better than phone for sure. I was afraid by deleting you that might cause issues. It might just need a refresh. I don't know. But try a different, if you've got a different email, you just make a new Gmail email account. A different email, a different browser. Those would be my next two things. Nick has good luck with Safari. Yeah, I was surprised. I think that Google Chrome is just getting bloated and it's Google who's having their own set of issues. But I was surprised how many problems that I've been having lately that I've just been dealing with trying to get websites to work. And I went over to Firefox and it was like the angels sang. Everything just worked. So yeah. If I was painting a torty cat in acrylics, what colors would I use and glaze with? So a torty, we're going to have red oxide, black. We've got some ivory, so like a cream color. Usually no, the torty, because it depends on if that one, because sometimes they'll have a little bit of white, but not a lot. But mainly the red oxide and black, and I would add black into it to control how brownish red that red oxide is. And you're on Safari, so that doesn't work. Yeah, I'm out of ideas. I would say make a new account, like a new email, like just a new Gmail account or something so that you can make a new account. I don't know. I don't know why it does that, and I don't know how to fix it. It's not even like, oh, I'll fix it for next time because I don't know what to fix. I wouldn't even know where to begin, and it's been a very frustrating thing with I just did an update. I don't know if that'll make any difference with the ability to log in. Yeah, that's, sorry, I don't know why it's doing that. And it's been an ongoing problem. Like, it's not just you. I have had problems, and some people we've been able to find workarounds with, but yeah. While we sit here looking at each other awkwardly, does anyone do digital planning at all? Because that's been like my new obsession with trying to make my own stickers and stuff. Tried that, it's just not meant to be. What did you try? Tried making a new email and everything, and it still didn't. So it's just my website is, I bet my website has an issue right now with your IP address for some reason. My website has a problem with my IP address half the time. So that might be it. Do you have a VPN? That might be causing issues. That certainly could be part of it. VPNs cause all kinds of issues. So different, a VPN could do it. Different security things, antivirus things will sometimes randomly like not let you log in. Your critical error may have nothing to do with the site, but the words are not working for me. All of the security stuff like McAfee is crap. All of that stuff's crap. They're their own set of virus, basically. Yeah, clear cookies and caches, defragmenting, all of that. So I'm wondering how much of it is an issue with that. Eileen said digital planning here in the near future. Nothing more than addicting to distraction. So yeah, digital planning. Let me tell you a little bit about what I've been. So I actually, down the rabbit trail, I ended up upgrading my tablet. So we will have some new digital paintings coming. But any of you, so Aline and I will be sharing. Aline, I am making some new, and if any of you are watching, especially if you're on Patreon, because that's the easiest way for me to share, want stickers for the digital planners. I'm going to be making stickers. Like, I've got some of Glitch, some of Chicken. So that is something that I'm going to be playing around with. So that'll be fun to share. Not the ones I paid for, obviously, because those are legal issues, but I'm making my own and excited about that. Let's see, place site into favorite Google page links. It helped my bank access. What? Oh, interesting. Place the site into your favorites Google page links. It helped my bank. That's interesting. I don't know anything about that one. But yeah, I think what's happening is something completely different. And it's weird because you've been able to order from me before, so I bet you. And I've had that happen where I got a warning on my own website saying this site is not secure. And I'm like, except I actually pay extra to have a little lock on it. And sometimes the lock isn't there. And people will get a notice that it's not secure for some reason. So yeah, I think there's something weird going on in there. Let's see. Dolphin Soul said, you'll still need me to remind you. Yes, you are right. The planner will just be sticker fun. Pretty much, like the digital planners, it's like scrapbooking without having to be a hoarder of all the fancy papers and tapes. Like, you just keep those in a file. So you're really scrapbooking a planner, but making it super cute and pretty. So yeah, I'm really excited to be playing with this. Yeah, Linda, we'll have to do some troubleshooting. If you want to do that with me, we'll like go back and forth with email or whatever and try to see if we can get this fixed, because I would love to figure out what the solution is, because you're not the only person who has this problem, and I don't know how to fix it. So maybe you and I could troubleshoot, because if it is as simple as like clearing the cache, clearing whatever, turning off the VPN, I don't know. Because I know sometimes, for a while, I was having to turn off my VPN anytime that I wanted to go to certain sites. Like, if I went to Patreon from the email, I have to turn my VPN off. It will not let me go from email and click that to go to Patreon. Now, if I just type in Patreon on my own, no problem. So, or if I turn off the VPN, no problem. So that causes a lot of headaches for me. So yeah, we're gonna have to figure out what's going on there. Yeah, Art of Raven D said, oh yeah, I've had VPN related issues. Yeah, it sucks. They're supposed to be so good. And I'm like, they have made my life much more difficult than, yes. Let's see. We are about done, so we will go ahead and wrap this up. A VPN is a virtual private network type thing. It basically, someone can't track you. So like, if I'm on a VPN and I'm not logged into Google, Google doesn't know where, well, even if I'm logged in, if I'm on a VPN, they don't know where I'm from. I can set it to where it looks like I'm in another country, in another state. People can't track you. If I go to somebody's website, they can't track the actual location. So it's like a security thing. But yeah, it also can just cause some issues. So pros and cons. Yeah, Art of Raven D said I said it for Spain. Yeah. So yeah, we'll have to figure that out. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Sorry, Linda, we are going to have to figure something out. I do have an acrylic cat painting, Linda, though, that I found recently. It would be more because it's an acrylic painting it's not a live stream one. It's an actual longer piece. So I don't know what that one for your trouble. I normally would sell it for $250. Hold on, Linda. Let me show you something really quick. If you want it for $125, I will give it to you because that one I would normally sell for $250, but I feel really bad that you weren't able to bid, but it's a cat. And let me grab this. 1 second. I'm probably going to cut. This one, when I eventually, but I feel really bad that you weren't able to bid tonight. So if you would like to bid on this one, or not bid, just let me know. If you want this one, would be $125. I'll let you have that for. This was not a live stream one. This is an 8x10. It was a much more involved. There's a lot more detail in that. So if you really wanted a cat tonight, I know it's more than the bidding on that one, but it's also normally would be, it'll end up on my site for $250. So if you want it for $125, let me know. Email me. We'll get it taken through that way. But that way I don't feel as bad that you didn't get to bid. So that is open for you. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining tonight. I don't know what we're doing next week. I don't know. Leave a comment in the video description. You want it, Linda? Email me. I'll get that to you. I'll send you a PayPal invoice for it. It's funny, I found this recently through my art things, and my first thought, every time I see a cat, I'm like, Linda's gonna want this. I think this is a Linda painting. But yeah, so anyway, I'm not doing a cockroach in pastels, Art of Raven D, on UArt paper. Okay, now that's kind of fitting. That is amazing. So anyway, I will see you guys next week. Go ahead and leave more comments after the video's over so I can go back after and see once the chat window closes. Or tell me, those of you who are over on Patreon and our Discord, head over there and let me know what you want to see. You guys always get first dibs anyway. But yeah, we will be, and we've got Zombie Snail coming later too for Halloween for sure. We need a Halloween Zombie Snail. Thank you guys. Check out our moderators. Links are in the video description. They've all got channels here on YouTube. And yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. And I'm sure I'm forgetting something important, but I don't know what it is. I don't know. Yeah, that's it. Bye.